Alright, it looks like Ghost of Yōtei is getting a brand new complete edition which will include some brand new DLC in the form of story DLC and a new gameplay mode and a bunch of extra stuff. So we're going to check that out in today's video. Alright, so we're going to be checking out the announced trailer reveal first, and then we're going to look at the PlayStation blog to go over some of the finer details on what we can expect with this Ghost of Yōtei expansion. I'm excited. I loved Ghost of Yōtei. It was my game of the year last year. It does some things better than Tsushima, and Tsushima does some things better than Yōtei. We'll get more into that later, but let's check out the trailer.
My mother told me stories of Onryo, ruthless spirits who wander the land, seeking vengeance. The night my family was massacred, I became such a spirit.
God, I love these worlds so much. Complete edition. Now the complete experience. The combat is so much fun. Online co-op? Okay. That for Legends.
I swore to my father that I'd kill you.
The story expansion, that's what I'm here for. Sekigahara? Gahara?
I assumed you exaggerated its beauty. I was so wrong.
Oh, you get a new land. Sweet.
This isn't like old times, Nagato. One wrong move.
I'm well aware of what happens to people who cross you.
Dude, you get a hammer.
We win this, and I will be someone. A true samurai.
Ready? Charge!
A new single-player combat survival mode. Most wanted? Oh, so it's like a roguelike mode. That's cool.
All that matters is the man in front of you.
Oh, sick. Alright, so there's a lot there. Let's just jump back to here really quickly. New narrative expansion, that's what I'm most excited for. Echoes of Sekigahara, I believe is how you pronounce it. Apologies to Japanese speakers. And then you get this new survival mode, which looks like a roguelike, which is pretty cool because the combat in Yōtei is so much fun. And sometimes all I want to do when I jump back into this world is do combat. So to have a mode that is specifically combat where you can get all these different upgrades like a roguelike, I think is pretty cool. Kind of surprising that they haven't done something like that before for the Ghost franchise, but it looks pretty cool. But jumping all the way back to the beginning here, I love the black and white style choice. It reminds me a lot of the Ghost of Tsushima director's cuts trailers that did a lot of black and white stuff. So funny enough, as much as I love the Ghost games, I did not play the Legends multiplayer mode for Yōtei, and that's because I don't have PlayStation Plus, and if I'm being honest, I don't really want to pay for PlayStation Plus to play online, and it feels kind of archaic these days to have to pay to play online, especially when you can play something on Steam and not have to, you know, pay for that extra stuff. But it looks pretty cool. Maybe if one day I do sign up for PlayStation Plus, I'll give it a shot, because I really loved the Legends mode in Tsushima. That was so much fun. But this right here, unexplored lands. We're getting to go back to Atsu's past, seemingly, for some of this. And one of the big story things was she was in a war, pretty big war, and she was a mercenary after that, but they don't really explore that too much within the game, which was something that I was kind of disappointed by. Like, I really wanted to learn more about Atsu's past and what her time in that war was like, how she trained, what she went through, the period of time in between the war and the start of Yōtei, because there's a lot you don't get. But it looks like we're going to get to explore that, which is really nice. We're also going to get some new weapons. Like, check this out. You get like a full-on Shao Kahn hammer, which is nuts. We get a new companion, which is pretty cool. New masks. So, what was that right there? I'm going to slow this down a little bit. Let's go 25. So it looks like a really long hatchet or axe. I don't know. Or it's like a halberd, I believe is what you would call it. Jeez, dude, look at the impact on that. And then you get a hammer. Look at that. You get a big old mallet. Oh, that guy's gonna get rocked. Bam! Knocks him down. There's your wolf over there too. Okay, so that's pretty dope. Extra weapons is always nice. I really like the variety of weapons that you get in Yōtei. So this right here, relive Atsu's past. So it looks like, yeah, dude, look at this big old battle scene. That's what I wanted so much from Yōtei. Because Yōtei's story is very, it's very focused, right? Like it's a revenge tale. It's not quite as big as Jin's story in Tsushima, which that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole like things that I think Tsushima does better than Yōtei. And I think the two things mainly that stand out to me that Tsushima does better are the story, its pacing, and its cast of characters. I don't think the cast of characters in Yōtei is bad, but Atsu has such a huge wolf pack of companions that not everyone's going to get fleshed out or be super deep characters. There's like a couple of them that actually are pretty deep and have some really cool backstories, but for the most part, her pack of wolves is just so big that the characters just kind of feel shallow at times. And with Tsushima, I felt that story and the character of Jin really benefits from having a much smaller, more intimate cast of supporting characters. When you have a smaller cast, you can really flesh those characters out more and devote so much time to them. So I always enjoyed doing the side stuff in Tsushima and learning more about Jin's cast of characters and the people that he grew up with and that took care of him. And they have some really, really rich stories in that game. Lady Masako has a really great story arc as well. So I think the pacing is also better in Tsushima because it is such a bigger story. It's not just a revenge tale. It's about protecting your whole island and fighting back the Khan and the Mongols. It just feels like such a bigger, more epic tale, which with this one, Yōtei is much more focused, right? Revenge tale. Atsu's going to get revenge. You meet some people along the way that knew her family, but for the most part, it's very like one-track mind, which isn't bad, but I think I just prefer how Tsushima's story plays out. It just feels like a bigger, more epic tale. And to be fair, when you do a bigger, more epic tale, it's kind of like, well, where do you go from there? So to do something a little bit different, that makes sense. But something that I think Yōtei does do better is the combat. I love the combat in Tsushima, but Yōtei just busts that combat wide open. You get so many more weapons and abilities. You get a wolf to team up with. You get extra accessories and like throwable items. There's a lot that Atsu is able to do that is just so much fun. Like pulling out the Kusarigama and just ripping a big fat match on it and then spinning it around like your Kratos is so much fun. That never gets old. So I definitely think the combat in Yōtei is much better. I really liked Atsu as a character. It's hard to compare her and Jin because they're such different characters. But for the most part, I think both games are phenomenal. I just think that the story stuff and the cast of characters is better in Tsushima. I think the combat is better in Yōtei. I also think the world exploration, while amazing in Tsushima, makes all the right upgrades in Yōtei. It's so much fun to explore this world. It's such an organic experience too because everything is already out there in the world. All of the NPCs, all of the duels, optional characters, the side quests, the activities, all that stuff is already out there in the world. You can just go and explore and find it. If you want to go to a local village or town and look at their, board of missions and bounties, you can do that, but you don't have to. It's pretty cool how you can approach the game as you want and just accidentally stumble across something or a side quest. It's pretty cool. So world interaction is so much fun. So this looks pretty cool. So there is a PlayStation blog, which is going to dive a little bit further into some of the details. So I think we should check that out. All right, we've made our way to the PlayStation blog. First thing we got to point out, right up here, buy now, there's a little asterisk there, new content coming October 1st, double asterisk. The one asterisk for the buy now, which is a pre-order now, is for the digital version only, but fret not, there will be a physical version available October 1st. Thank you, Sucker Punch. So This is something that was most likely planned way in advance before Sony ever announced that they were basically stopping production on discs in January of 2028. So this has been in the works for a while. Probably hard for them to do a U-turn and just do digital. So there thankfully will be a physical release for this, which is smart. Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut, that physical release, if I'm not mistaken, sold very well. So to not have a physical for this would be a huge mistake. So this is just going to open up the door for so many more people to find this game, and maybe they didn't even know about it because the game sold relatively well. I think it did like over 3 million units in its like first month of release, which is pretty good. But that's just the biggest thing here. There will thankfully be a physical edition, which, you know, might shock some people. You know, Sony wants to go head first into this all digital future, which isn't even technically their end game. For a lot of these companies, their end game is to get players as streamers, right? You're not buying physical, you're not even buying and downloading digital. They want you to stream the game to a device or your TV. That's like their long-term end game goal, which I'm not personally a fan of. I like having my physical media. So at least the physical edition's coming. And again, that buy now is a little misleading because I checked the PlayStation Store. It's a pre-order now. And what's nice is if you pre-order it now, you actually get a discount. This is normally $14.99, but it's on sale for $11.99. So and that's for the people that already have Yōtei and you just want to upgrade to the new stuff. I can't remember what Sony called that. Is it privilege? They have a certain word to describe upgrading your copy. I can't remember the exact word, but it's just like makes you want to roll your eyes. All right, so we have a write-up here. This is from Andrew Goldfarb, who works at Sucker Punch. He's a senior communications manager. All right, this is what we're hearing. All right, Ghost of Yōtei Echoes of Sekigahara is our new narrative expansion. Split between the present day and flashbacks to Atsu's time on the mainland, you'll meet Nagato, a figure from Atsu's past who has arrived in Ezo. So they're gonna kill Bill it. They're gonna jump back and forth between timelines here. In the present, you'll explore a previously unseen valley once inhabited by the Snake and his gang of loyal followers, the Vipers. Randy Orton. In the past, you'll experience Atsu's time in the Battle of Sekigahara and a key moment in her life before she returned home for her quest for vengeance. You'll meet new enemies and find new heavy weapons, new armor sets, new dyes, and more. Again, this right here is what I'm super excited for. You only get little flashes of that in Yōtei, where Atsu talks about her time in that big battle of Sekigahara. You see a little bit of art for it, but that's about it. They don't really touch on it too much. It's basically she was in this battle, she became a mercenary, and then the story of Yōtei starts. So to get to actually go back and see how that battle played out and get to be a part of it, that's something I really wanted in Yōtei and we just didn't get, which kind of makes sense because again, it was very singular, one-track minded focused, and it's like a revenge tale. That was Atsu's main thing. I gotta get revenge. Nothing else really matters. Also, Nagato, a figure from Atsu's past who has arrived in Ezo. So it looked like based on the trailer, he may have been someone who fought in the war with her. So I think they might have, there's something going on there between the two of them, whether it's good or it ends bad, I don't know, but that's kind of curious to know. But also visiting an area that was inhabited by the Snake and his gang of followers, which I'm assuming is this area. It looks very like swampy, boggy, but that's cool. Again, I really loved the Iki Island expansion for Ghost of Tsushima. Wonderful expansion, cool new area. I love the story stuff. Had a little bit of a supernatural twist on it, but just getting to spend more time in that world with Jin and explore a brand new beautiful area, so much fun. So we're gonna get to do that here. So this is Ghost of Yōtei Most Wanted. Brand new single player combat survival mode, our spin on a roguelike. Yeah, so it's a roguelike. You'll accept bounties in order to start new runs, where taking down enemies will earn you perks, as well as unlock additional characters to play as. Ooh. Additional characters to play as. I wonder if they're gonna limit that to just Yōtei cast. Or if they're gonna have like Jin or any of the characters from Tsushima be playable. That would be pretty cool. It'd be a little bit immersion breaking, but this is a roguelike already, so immersion broken. We'll have much more to show soon, but as soon as you see in the trailer today, as you can see in the trailer today, Atsu is a master with the dual katana, while Oyuki excels with the Kusarigama and Nagato shines with the Yari. Okay, so those are 3 characters already. Atsu, Oyuki, and Nagato. Dude, you get a Sakai clan armor as an early unlock, you have to purchase by September 30th. Dude, that's a nice little tribute to Jin, getting to use his armor set. I'm never taking it off. Why would I take it off? All this stuff, I believe, came with the previous deluxe edition. So this is all just kind of redundant if you own that. This is what we're here for, this new stuff here. And that armor, because it looks pretty cool. Okay, you can purchase Ghost of Yōtei Complete Edition for $70. Okay, so they didn't jack up the price to $80. So new players can still hop on board for $70. If you purchase the Complete Edition, you can immediately start playing the main game and Legends and Echoes of Sekigahara and Most Wanted. Okay, so that's worded weird. If you purchase the Complete Edition, you can immediately start playing the main game and Legends. And Echoes of Sekigahara and Most Wanted will arrive with a patch on October 1st. Okay, so you get all this main stuff if you buy it now, but the DLC story roguelike mode, that's October 1st with a patch. Okay. If you already own Ghost of Yōtei, you can get the Echoes of Sekigahara and Most Wanted by purchasing the Yōtei Complete Edition upgrade for $14.99. Again, as of checking right now, it is on sale, so it's $11.99. So you probably want to buy that now. If you already own the Digital Deluxe Edition and Charm of, I'm going to butcher that, Kusei, you'll immediately unlock that content upon pre-ordering. And if you pre-order by the 30th on October 1st, you'll get the early unlock of the Sakai armor. So, let's look at these photos really quickly. Wow, captured on PS5 Pro. Look at that, dude. So sick. This armor is sick. Was this in the base game or is this part of the DLC? I think I got all the armor sets in the base game already. Look at that, dude. That is cool. And the wolf's right there. Sick. Get new masks. Okay, these are the new wanted stuff. Atsu looking fierce. Atsu facing off against two people. These must be the Vipers. Atsu and Nagato, yes. So, oh, this is a nice shot. I like this armor, dude. And the hat looks really cool. So, I'm kind of curious here. Split between the present day and flashbacks to Atsu's time on the mainland. So, spoiler alert, but when Yōtei ends, Atsu basically retires. She's like, I did what I had to do. I'm not about that life anymore. She puts down her blade and retires and lives a nice quiet life. So, does Nagato then show up after she retires, or is this supposed to take place like during her revenge tale? That's kind of what I'm curious about, because it says split between the present day and flashbacks to Atsu's time on the mainland. That I'm very curious about, because when you do finish the game, if you do jump back into the world, it's kind of cool how they do it. They keep it kayfabe. For anyone who watches wrestling, kayfabe is basically what happens within the world of wrestling is considered real, even though we know it's not. I'm wondering if their mentality is, because like when Atsu just straight up retires and you jump back into the world, she's telling the story to one of the young kids. I can't remember the name of the kid, but she's basically saying like, oh, actually this was part of my story as well. So it flashes back, it puts you in the world, and it's acting as if Atsu is retelling something from that main portion of the story instead of her just like picking the sword back up and going back out and, you know, murking fools again. So kind of curious about that, how they'll handle that, or if she's gonna have to pick the sword back up. That's either way, like I'm intrigued by that, but this looks really cool. That's a nice shot. Really nice shot. So this looks fun. Physical games matter. They do. Don't kill physical media. What about a physical complete edition? Would buy this again. You're in luck. Proud to be NS, because there is a physical edition coming. I think a lot of people either didn't see the banner or maybe just didn't read the fine print, which a lot of people don't do. But yeah, thankfully there will be a physical edition. No info provided about physical. It's there, dude. It's at the very top. So with that being said, that is pretty much the video. So it looks like they'll be uploading some more information by October 1st, just sharing new stuff, probably more on the roguelike mode, maybe a few more details on the story DLC, which honestly, I know enough. I kind of just want to experience the story DLC now with what I know. I don't think they really have to reveal too much more. but I'm pretty excited. If you're someone who did play Ghost of Yōtei and you enjoyed it, how are you feeling so far about this DLC update, Echoes of Sekigahara? Will you be checking out Legends mode again? Will you be checking out the new Roguelike mode, which again, the combat in this game is so much fun. I'll probably be doing the Roguelike mode quite a bit. With that being said though, I am Curious Corduroy. That is the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.